As a felter, if I wanted to make a 72-inch long scarf, I wonder, well, how long do I have to make it to start with? How many inches of wool do I have to lay out? And if I wanted to make a hat to fit a 24-inch head, I wonder, well, how big do I have to make the template in order to end up with a 24-inch hat? In this video, I'm going to show you two formulas that will help you to demystify the math in felting. And when you hear math and felting, don't go, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it. That's what I did, but after practice, it becomes easier, and I hope I'm going to make it a little easier for you in this video. So let me show you how I begin. Felting is a very personal journey, and every felter has their own techniques, and we all lay wool slightly different. Well, yes, there are definitely some basics to felting that we kind of follow, but how we actually lay the wool is different from one another. So let me show you my samples and what I did to determine my rates of shrinkage. This is a sample that I laid out in merino wool. I made 2 layers. First layer is pink. I laid that vertically, left a little marker that shows this is the vertical, and my orange has been laid out horizontally. When you make your sample, make a note to yourself. You want to put on a card that you laid the pink vertically, you laid the orange horizontally, you started out 10 inches by 10 inches. When you finish felting your sample, you'll write what size it ended up. This sample also started out 10 inches by 10 inches. It's 2 layers of merino. This also started out 10 by 10. It's mohair. This one shrank 45%. This is a sample of Nuno felt. I laid 1 layer of light wool, merino, and a layer of dyed silk. This one shrank 55%. How did I get these numbers? I'm going to show you that. But first I have to show you this. This is my Persian cat hair. I felted this, but I forgot to keep my records. Okay, the formulas. This is the formula. It can be shortened as A over B is the percent of remaining. What that means, don't pay attention to that. We're just going to plug in the numbers. So after felting, here are the numbers. After felting, my sample was 6 inches wide and 6 inches long. Before felting, it was 10 inches wide. Now, this formula, this one equation, is only referring to the width. You would also do all these numbers for width and length, but I'm only showing you the width now. So that was 6 inches by 10 inches. You divide that, you end up with 60% remaining. Okay, that's part 1. Part 2 of that equation is, how do you get the shrink rate? This is part 2. You take 100% minus your remaining percent that you just got from that other equation. So 100 minus 60% remaining gives you 40% shrinkage. So in this formula you have 2 important numbers. Your last result is how much you shrank your felt. So in this sample, by plugging in the numbers, I found out that I shrank this sample 48%. But the other important number was the percent remaining. Now keep that in mind as I show you my hat formula, you'll refer to this number again. So, question number 2 was, I want to make a hat to fit my 24-inch head. How do I do it? How do I know what size template I'm going to start with? And this hat was made with a template or a resist. There's no seams or sewing. Okay, this was the template. But how did I know that I wanted to make it 18 inches? I'm going to show you that. Now again, I'm only showing you how I got 18 inches wide. This formula will also show you how to do if I wanted it 18 inches tall. Okay, the formula is this. My finished width, what I want to end up with. In this case, I want to end up with 24-inch circumference hat. The formula is, I plug in the number divided by percent remaining. Okay, well, where did my percent remaining come from? It came from my sample. This is a sample that I made. It started out 12 inches. It ended up 8 inches wide. So, how did I get my percent remaining? Remember, it was A over B. After felting, before felting. So that was A is after, was 8, before was 12. So, plug in those numbers. I want a 24-inch hat. From my sampling, I saw that I had 67% remaining. My template size that I want to start with is 36 inches. Well, you say, but this wasn't 36 inches. At least that's what I said when I came out with the math. But then I realized that's 18 inches on each side. So, take 36 divided by half, you get how wide you want to make your template. And you do the same for the top. So, those formulas came from a book by Christine White. It's a great book. She goes into more detail about lots of things and gives a lot of samples. I found it to be very helpful. So I hope I was somewhat helpful to you and maybe made it a little more understandable. Please check out my website. You can find me at www.amanostudios.com.